morning. It's Tuesday 25th of October 2022. It's 8:30 in the morning and I've just knocked off briefly to introduce this part 16 of our series. I'll be very brief. There's a couple of things. First of all, it features the very last deck plank that we've put down, so the deck is complete. There's still an enormous amount to do to finish the stern deck, and that will be in the next episode, part 17. And by the time you've seen that one, which hopefully I can get done quite soon, you will more or less be up to date. So we've more or less caught up. So I hope you enjoy the video. Well, good afternoon. It's Wednesday, I think it's the 22nd of June, that's 2022. I've just been making a Panama cleat. I'll show you in a minute the finished item. That's the last of 4 that I've had to make. It basically starts off with a 2-inch plank. You then make a template like this. They sit across between stanchions like this, and you just make up the shape. You know, it's whatever you think is a reasonable, attractive shape. In my case, I'm constrained to a degree by these oak blocks in between the stanchions, and then the cleats I'm doing now fixed to those. In terms of size and shape, constrained by these metal inserts, so they dictate the actual size and the shape, and then the block had a hole made in it to match that, which sits inside it, and now I have to match both the hole in here, of course, and of course that matches the metal insert on the outside, and it makes a really solid job. They're lovely to work with. You can see I've also made these mooring posts here, which are also cleats. 4 of those, 2 at the bow, 2 at the stern. You can see one down there just past our fenders. Rennie hates me because she paints all of this stuff, and then I sand it or plane it all off again later on when I have to modify it, you know, to finish the job. It's a pretty simple process. I mean, once you've got your template, you lay it on your plank, draw around it, and then using one of these things, a jigsaw, just basically cut around it.
D-Day at the British Memorial above Gold.
So that's that job. Randy, I think, is down in the engine room. Indeed she is. You can see down in the engine room. This deck, by the way, will be going down very soon. We've now completed everything below deck in the engine room, all the things that we wanted to do. So the exhaust, for instance, you see this pipe in here, that's in. The fixings you can just see down there come up through the hole, look. So I fixed that in place and I put a nice new exhaust hose on that. What Randy is doing is painting some cages or shelves, whatever you want to call them, for the fenders. So we have 6 fenders can be down there. You can see Randy struggling down there. She says she's too old for this job now. This is probably true. It's an awkward space to be in and to paint.
It's a paint that dries so quick, so I can't sort of get it right.
That's right, absolutely right. So that's Randy. There she is down there. And the reason we're putting the fenders down there is because fenders are always a bit of a problem on deck. You can see them there, look, that's 5 of our new fenders, and it's a pain having the fenders around. And particularly as we're intending to do a lot of anchoring, you know, we won't be able to go into marinas and harbours all the time because we won't be able to afford it. Ordinarily and ideally we would put the fenders inside the dinghy, but we've reserved Lily for our bicycles. We've got 2 folding cycles that are an important part of our transport system. The mizzen mast goes down through here, and in and around behind that is more or less unused space, so it's perfect for the fenders because they just fit in there nicely. You can see Randa's shirt there, her stripy shirt where she's painting. So getting the fenders, you'd be in that position and you just literally just hand them up through here, so that will work really quite well. The other job that we had to do was the hydraulic steering, and you can see the hoses, the hydraulic hose pipes there, which all had to be fitted in. And again, you can see with the deck up how easy it is to get to all of these bits. And now that that's done, we can cap all that off finally.
That's slow because of a contraflow between 36 and 37. The M4 eastbound that are laying out on the exit
you had a crazy angle, take it to
emergency repairs in Broughton in Northamptonshire. The 843 is blocked. There's been an accident between
the nice surprise to be able to go back to bed.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't stay up.
Minutes now. Goes again. It took the first set 6-4, and she leads by a break. 4 games to 3 in the second. And my fact, many top court people come from here. No top tennis players though. So Mike says, I'll have to practice harder.
Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, I think it's the 6th of July 2022, and it's 25 to 2. If you've been following this series, then you know that we left, the whole of the deck has been done for some time, but not the stern deck. And the reason for that was because there were jobs that we had to do below the stern deck, which made it, without the deck being laid, made it much easier to get to. And in particular, there was the new hydraulic steering system. I've shown you at various stages of its development, and there it is in its completed state. So it's that piece there. Yeah, that's the pump that's going in the wheelhouse, and this thing here we've got to take off. So this is going to be an interesting one, just because of its size alone. The hydraulics themselves have been done for a month or two now, but there were other little things. We had to put a greaser in, and what I've been doing, or what I did last week, was to put this control arm in, which connects to the hydraulic tiller. And so when the tiller arm moves, it moves the control arm, and that feeds back to the auto helm, which I can show you now. This is the instrument for the auto helm. You see it's got different positions on there. It does all sorts of fancy stuff, which I can cover and there's a control box behind here. I'll show you that in another video. I don't want to get distracted by that now. So I completed that last week. And for the last 3 days, I've been putting the deck down. I've already done most of it in the last 2 days. You can see all the new planking. It's obvious which is the new ones. And I've just cut these short lengths here. They're the easy bits, really. It's quite astonishing, actually. Now that I've got the deck down and we can walk around a little bit around here, I've suddenly realised what an enormous area this is. The old manual steering system took up the whole of this rear deck, and you couldn't have that exposed, so you had to cover it in some way. So they covered it by putting a sort of big recliner. It dominated, really, the whole of the stern of the boat. And let's just get that out of the way a minute.
You did some online training with your dogs.
Yes, we did. We had.
It's not such a good idea to have a single wedge like this, because the wedge itself is pressing against the good wood. Ideally, you want, I should put that the other way around. Now those will remain static. Those will remain static against the planks that you want to protect, and the movement on the wedge will be on 2 other wedges. It won't be rubbing up against the side of the planks themselves. So you see, I'll put a clamp across there. There we go. That's nice and tight. That all looks good. Across the grain, so if the grain's going that way, the flat goes across that way. Again, to help prevent it from splitting the beam below. So it's just that centre section I've got to do now. Unlike these planks, which come with a corking seam 3mm on either side already made, the centre section will be a blank, so I'll have to put seams down both sides. And also you won't be wedging this up, it has to wedge itself in tight, so it's got to be, I'll have to be very precise about making this so that when it goes in it sits in really tight. So the length is precisely right. We've got 3mm corking seam on the sides and a 6mm at either end, so that's all in. So what I'm going to do now is try and force this in and hope. So 26 inches, 26 and 9/16 is the length, and I've cut that precisely to that length. So let's see what happens, see if we can get it in. Oh, look at that, look at that. I think that's going to go in nicely. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's lovely when that happens. Look at that. Wow, that is very satisfying. Oh, very happy with that. Very happy. Result. What I'll do is first of all mark where the pad is. That's quite exciting actually, it's really exciting times because the sort of final parts of the jigsaw, if you like.